DJ Kierstead with the New England Take on WKXL, 1450 AM, 103.9 FM, 1450 AM, granitegrok.com, Concord TV, and most importantly to me personally, newenglandtake.com. Please be sure to check out newenglandtake.com. It is the Substack of the program where it's the best way to get your episodes in every week in your inbox, so please be sure to check that out. I have a unique episode this week with a couple of times of me actually leaving where I am right now. I had the opportunity to attend the Constitution Party of New Hampshire's 4th annual party convention, a little small, kind of unique party showing grassroots conservatism, how it can be actually mobilized to change the way things are happening. So I'm excited to have a conversation with Ed Laplante, who is the party chairman and running for Senate, followed by the keynote speaker of the presentation, Shurtleff of Camp Constitution. It was really exciting to check these out, so we'll go to those now. All right, here with Ed Laplante, who is once again the party chair for the Constitution Party in New Hampshire. Thanks so much for inviting me here. So the big takeaway for me as someone who, as someone who's younger, who hasn't really had many other parties going on, to see in person something down home, on the grounds, grassroots, putting something together is fantastic. I mean, what's your takeaway coming out of this meeting?
Well, I hope we energize a lot of people, and like I said, grassroots, I want to energize younger people. They are the future, and I want to hear what they have to say. I really generally care. I've been in the Marine Corps when I was 30. I was in charge of a bunch of 17-year-olds. Mm-hmm. Now where I work, we have guys at 20, 21, 22, all the way up to about 40, all different strengths. And I love hearing what they have to say. Yeah. I want to energize them, say, you can make a difference. And some of them are like, well, I'm not going to vote. I'm like, oh, all right, so you just gave your vote to somebody else. Yeah. What do you mean? I'm like, well, if you don't vote, somebody else is going to vote for you. Well, that's messed up. I'm like,
no kidding. Yeah, it's your job to kind of step up. It's something I've been harping on. You got to have skin in the game. And with the big parties like you talked about previously on the show, and you actually just brought up during the meeting also, where you got to have $500,000 to even have a chance to even be considered for a debate, which is, the debates are key. People like to write off the debates, like, oh, it's just them talking or whatever. That's how you get attention. That's how you get the news stories. That's how you get the mainstream press to pay attention so they actually have a step forward. And to have a smaller party like this jump in, and I would love to see a whole bunch of parties like this because we have libertarians kind of doing their thing sometime we talked about in the past, but there's so many more angles when it comes to how politics and policy and everything and lawmaking come together. This is a great way to do it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking too, If somebody looks at me and says, he's an Honda mechanic. What the heck? I'm like, you know what? I want them to say, I can do that. Yeah. If I lose, they're going to be like, hey, wow, if he did it, so can I. And guess what? I'm a lot smarter than him. All right, cool.
It's something the Democrats keep saying over and over again. We need to have the people that are actually blue collar, on the ground, working for careers and stuff, and then they proceed to have we got AOC. I'm like, what? One bartender in New York, that was, we did it. We're done. We've got our quota that we need.
Yeah, when I heard that statistic, and oddly enough it was by NPR, but they said 98% of Congress doesn't have a blue-collar job or never had a blue-collar job. That blew me away.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned from the ladies at Walmart, the older ladies, and the younger people too, the college groups. It's the same thing. They don't represent us. They're absolutely right.
Yeah. And it's the American dream. It's the whole perspective. You can be someone who worked at McDonald's, even just a teenager job, just doing anything. Anything that's not just going right into college and then some white-collar gig in New York and then, oh, by the way, I retired, now I'm going to go to whatever state needs another rep that I can go along party lines with. It's necessary to actually have the skin in the game, understanding what people go through day to day, even if you don't have it now. Say you did have success later in life and you made your money and everything. I spoke to David Jones, who's running for governor of Maine. He worked his butt off. He's got tons of businesses he put together. So many people don't have that, and that's how our economy runs. We say that D.C. runs our economy, which is wrong, but that's what they keep saying. It's important that people understand what it is to make a buck.
Yeah, absolutely. You can be anybody, like we were both saying, and I hope I come across with that, especially younger people. It's so important for me I want them to be heard. And right now, from what they're telling me, a lot of people that I know, they're not being heard. I'm like, oh, he's old, or he's out of touch. Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
A big focus of today has been on education. Camp Constitution's here. I'm hoping to speak to Hal at some point. Why do you feel like the Constitution Party should focus on education, homeschooling, or otherwise as a priority?
Well, to be honest with you, what the public schools are teaching is more like an indoctrination. I know it's been said and oversaid probably a billion times, but it's true. They're not teaching the Constitution. They went from teaching civics, which is the Constitution and stuff like that, to teaching social studies. Nothing wrong with social studies, but that's it. It's social. It's not our law. So is any surprise that the younger people, don't know their rights? They don't, because they weren't taught it. So they go by the next catchy phrase, like tax the rich.
Yes.
Yay!
That's our politics nowadays.
No.
Vibes and catchphrases.
Right. And like I said, I'm not special, but I can read. And when I read something, I'm like, hey, that's not what's going on right here. And if you tell your congressman or your representative, hey, why did you do that? And you, by all means, ask them, why did you vote this way? And if they can't explain it to you, to your satisfaction, get a new representative.
100%. Ed Laplante, running for U.S. Senate, Constitution Party Chairman. Thanks so much for joining me and inviting me today.
Thank you, AJ.
All right, here now with Hal Shurtleff. Thanks so much for joining me right now. You spoke as the kind of the keynote for the Constitution Party New Hampshire meeting. Tell a little bit for people who haven't heard of what is Camp Constitution? What's the mission?
Yeah, well, we're a New Hampshire-based charitable trust founded in 2009, and our mission is our motto: honoring the past, teaching the present, preparing the future. So we teach people about our Constitution, our great Christian history. Our goal is to find the next generation of political, not so much political, but freedom activists, liberty activists. And meanwhile, we have a lot of fun doing it too. So.
Yeah, it's so important. I mean, highlighted what you're bringing up is if the next generation doesn't understand how the Constitution works, which is the framework of our government, and our lawmakers in D.C. who apparently don't know what's going on with the Constitution, that's catastrophe for the future of our civilization. So to have a focus of education on that is huge.
Well, it's interesting. There's two types of politicians: those who do know the Constitution and those who don't. Some of them do know it, and they know they're violating it almost every time they take a vote. So it's important in fact, most people, if you ask them, who's their state representative? Here in New Hampshire, you might have more than one. Yeah. Who's your member of Congress? They may not even know. Right. They may know what you're talking about. And that's the problem. It's a reflection of what happens back in the state. So we look at Congress, we look at our delegation, and they don't represent that I know. In fact, no one I know that represents. But how's that happening? Because we're not involved, we don't understand, and not enough of us do. But I'm optimistic of the future because I see so many young people are showing a real interest in our country, our country's history. So there's a lot of good signs. A lot of good signs around the country, and here in New Hampshire and here in New England. Believe it or not, even in Massachusetts, we see. One of the greatest things is that I'm on a budget committee in my town of Alton. Okay. And we learned that the enrollment in public schools down 20% around the state. There might be a few reasons for that. One of them is, unfortunately, a low birth rate. Yeah. Second one is homeschooling or alternatives to government school. To me, that's a very bright spot.
Yeah, and speak a little bit to what Camp Constitution has for resources for parents, whether they're homeschooling or just wanting to supplement what they're getting in the schools.
Right. Well, if you go to our website, you'll see a drop-down, Sam Blumenfeld Archive. Sam was a pioneer in the homeschool movement. And when he passed away, we inherited his writings, his recordings, and we digitized it. So you can go to that site. You can teach cursive. We have all the lessons. You can download it. We can do the hard copy or do the online version. Lessons in cursive, lessons in basic arithmetic, and it's all free. As well as many, many resources, whether it's history. We have a YouTube channel with almost over 1,600 videos. Wow. Many of our classes, this will be our 18th annual family camp, and we've recorded most of the speeches or lectures or classes, and so we've got a wide range of topics from you got all kinds of Constitution courses, courses on. We actually had a British lord that came 2 years in a row, Lord Christopher Monckton, and he did a lot on geopolitics, the European Union, and of course he and Professor Willie Soon are very much in the so-called climate realist camp. Yep. So there's a lot of classes on that too. Logic, that's a sort of a lost art.
Yeah.
People get into debates and they throw things out, and I say that's a logical fallacy. That's a logic. But they don't even know they're using a logical fallacy, right? And so it's important.
It's this focus on lenses and theories as opposed to like, does it honestly make sense that this is, and why is it, or are you explaining something to it's not logical?
It's just right thinking. That's all. But it's one thing to have a lot of facts. You could memorize you could memorize every book in the Bible. Now defend it.
Yeah.
You know, that's the challenge. And we know that. One of our instructors over the years is Professor Duke Pesta of the Freedom Project Academy. He's actually attended professor at a state college in Wisconsin. He said that 85% of Christian students that come in, conservative Christian students, lose their faith by the 4th year. And he said nothing makes his secular professors happy. That makes their day. That shouldn't be happening. First off, you shouldn't be in there to begin with, in that environment. But if you are, you should be able to defend your position. So that's a real challenge we have. In fact, we have camp T-shirts. I made one now. I'm no fan of Malcolm X, right? But you know the old saying, "A stop clock is right twice a day."
Yes.
He made a comment, which I completely agree. We put it on a T-shirt. It says, "Only a fool would let his enemy teach his children." Then we have another from someone I really admire, just passed away, Pastor Vodi Belcom. He said, when you allow Caesar to educate your children, don't be surprised when they come home as Romans, right? So we said, gee, what happened to my child? Why is he no longer coming? Because you put him in, he came with a different worldview. He had a worldview that you helped encourage, but he couldn't defend it. And so he changed. He may come back, she may come back in the fold 10, 15 years from now, but we can't afford that. You know?
Right.
So,
give the super brief elevator pitch for the camp itself and what people would experience at it.
Well, it's a great, it's a family camp, all families, mom, dad, children, unaccompanied minors, and it's a very comprehensive program between classes and recreational time and field trips and optional marksmanship, optional self-defense, martial arts. So it's a great 1-week program. So go to our website, campconstitution.net, to get information about it.
Fantastic. Hal Shurtleff of Camp Constitution. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, so that was Ed Laplante, party chairman of the Constitution Party of New Hampshire, and Hal Shurtleff, the director of Camp Constitution. Please be sure to go out to learn more about those. I have a new article at newenglandtake.com that dives into more of my opinions on the Constitution Party. Honestly, I'm hopeful for them, but even if it doesn't go anywhere in the long run, I am hopeful that they'll go somewhere in the long run, though. It's great to see and can be an example of the way grassroots politics can be mobilized to do something for the betterment of our society, focusing on the Constitution, doing little things that can kind of fund your party without corrupting it to corporate sponsorships, funding, things of that nature. And I've spoke out against corporatism and the impact of large donors and super PACs and things like that on the Republican Party. And I'm hoping someday Citizens United and such can go away and we can no longer have to deal with such things. But in the meantime, we got to deal with the reality of where we are. But we really should consider little opportunities. The Constitution Party, there are a bunch of others out there. There's more than just the Libertarian Party as a third-party option, and you should really get out there and consider what else is honestly out there, possibly to push to have them on the ballot. It does not take that much to add another party to the ballot, and you should really consider what you can do to change your country for the better. Speaking of country for the better and where we're going, next up, I had the chance to join Ken Cail on WKXL for the day after the State of the Union address, where I'm recording this on Wednesday, the 25th of February. I'm going to throw it to that next. Kind of breaking down how I felt about the State of the Union with Trump running an ungodly hour and 45 minutes long, but it wasn't the 2 hours I was told it would be, so I'll take what I can get. Here it is now with Ken Cail and Cail & Company.
7:33 is the time, right here on WKXL in the morning. Ken Cail, Andrew Gibson, and happy to be joined today by A.J. Kierstead of the aforementioned New England Take. The New England Take, by the way, offers a weekly stream of politically charged, policy-oriented content focused on New England, all analyzed through A.J. Kierstead's open-minded lens. So we're going to peek through that open-minded lens this morning and get your take, A.J., on last night's State of the Union address. Good morning.
Morning. Thanks so much for having me.
My pleasure.
So yeah, it was interesting. It was way too long. I'm so tired of these 2-hour presentations.
It was record-breaking. It was a record-breaking State of the Union.
I was watching the C-SPAN live stream on YouTube to check it out, and so right about 10 minutes before it started, the host went, it's expected to be 2 hours. And I'm like, oh my God, I didn't realize I was signing up for that. So, because it didn't start till 9 p.m. Eastern, because they want to get the prime time West Coast audience on there. So it was a long go, but he kept it at 1:45, so I guess little victories.
Not too bad, but still a record breaker. I think last time around it was 1:40, so he's got to increase it by at least 5 minutes.
Got to get that record. That's that's the Trump way.
But at any rate, as far as substance is concerned, what did you think? What was your take?
He did I think honestly, a surprisingly good job. You never know what you're going to get with Trump sometimes, whether it's going to be this bombastic calling out of the other side, and we saw the imitation of it from Biden in his last year and a half with the dark branded nonsense. No, this was presidential Trump. He did have his little moment, a couple little instances shouting at the Democrats who were booing or yelling at him, saying, you guys are just terrible, things like that. But that's nothing. In modern day politics with Trump, who is known for riling up the audience, that's to be expected. So ultimately, overall, I thought it was a relatively strong speech. And I heard really good. Someone brought Emily Jashinsky, who's a conservative analyst out there, said it was basically a clip show. It went from 30-second to 2-minute clip over and over again, just hitting the various topics he wants to do. It's made for the internet. The newscasts are going to have the easiest day of their life when it comes to a speech like this, where they're able to kind of say, here's him calling up the Team USA from the Olympics for our hockey team. Here's a medal of freedom for someone. And it was very interesting to see him spread those out throughout the presentation. Yep. Usually it's like the first half hour is like, yay, this guy, yay, this guy. No, it was literally 1:45 interspersed with these calling out American excellence. That was really the theme of it, was American excellence. We're going in the right direction. Yes, there's been some craziness foreign with Venezuela and Iran and things like that, but we're going in the right direction was where he was going with it.
No question, and obviously he's been a TV guy from way back. He's an entertainer, he's a politician, of course, but he knows what people want to see and what draws an audience, what makes great clips. When as you said, when easy to clip out some great highlights from last night, and with as many years in television. He knows that people have short attention spans, but the hits just kept on coming. I mean, he didn't spend too long on any one topic. He moved. I thought it went by very quickly, honestly. I mean, for a record-breaking length, I thought it moved. And, as you said, many highlights could be clipped from that. Al Green got thrown out again. Just as
second year in a row
was getting underway. Not the Reverend Al Green. Not him. The Congressman Al Green.
Exactly. It's a new tradition.
What would it be without Al Green?
And he was holding up. So I couldn't see what it was in the live stream, and someone posted a screen grab. He had a sign saying "Black people aren't apes," and that to me, if you don't know where that's coming from, that's the Trump administration posted a video where it depicted the Obamas as apes in using AI to include them in The Lion King, or whatever the movie was. I didn't even watch it. I just know that's why everyone's annoyed. And this is what he decides to post when there's so many actual policy considerate things that he should be out there saying, as a Democrat, I want this or that. This is what he does. That tells me he's got a lot of Zoomer young people that are too online that are running his platform, and it is not for the best.
But Al, unfortunately, missed most of the proceedings last night, having been thrown out. I mean, Trump hardly got any words out before Al Green was protesting and getting tossed out.
It's all about the show,
which he wanted to do, I'm sure. And so, at any rate, but it was great to see the gold medal winning United States men's Olympic hockey team there. And President Trump did mention that the U.S. women's team would be visiting the White House soon. Now, they were invited to attend the State of the Union last night, the women's gold medal winning hockey team, which did a terrific job as well, but they declined because of various reasons, going back to school or opportunities that were out there for them following the Olympics. So, at any rate, they did not attend last night, but apparently they're going to show up at the White House in the not-too-distant future, according to President Trump. So,
yeah, and I'm sure that'll be the case. It's a normal thing. I mean, you can only have so many people on that floor, especially when you're inviting entire teams. There's gonna be a lot of Democrats out there making a lot of noise about it, but I honestly don't think it means anything. I'm sorry, like, men's hockey is tremendously more popular than women's hockey also. It is what it is. He actually awarded the Medal of Freedom to the goalie.
Connor Hellebuck,
who made some incredible saves during the game. I'm sorry, not a sports guy, just off of what I saw from the clips. But it was a great moment. It was, once again, American excellence, bringing people together that are relatively going to agree with them. Not necessarily everyone's going to agree with him. He knows that. He openly has no problem working with people who disagree with him if they're willing to work with him. So it was a great moment.
Yeah, and he did mention that people agree with Melania a lot more than they side with him. She has that new documentary out there.
Movie star Melania.
Yes, movie star Melania. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. Have you?
No, I have no desire to see that.
Okay. I think I'd like to see it just out of curiosity. Yeah. To see.
It's like a morbid curiosity thing for sure.
I've seen mixed reviews on it, and as always, it's politically charged. One side's going to say it was fabulous, the other side's going to say it stunk, but that's just the way it is. The Democrats didn't stand up when Trump was making some poignant points about what he has accomplished, and some of the things that he has accomplished are, he does have a tendency to embellish. I don't think anybody would question that. But there's a lot of good that he has accomplished, and the Democrats did not stand up for some of them.
And that all comes down to the border talks. That's what it was about when he literally said, "How do you not stand to the Democrats that were there?" And for the record, that's the Democrats that actually showed up. Because they had an all-day nonsense thing counter to the State of the Union, which is just childish. I'm sorry, I gotta say it. It's ridiculous that the Democrats, which would be all in a tizzy if anyone didn't show up to the Democratic president being at the front of the room.
Oh yeah.
To be holding signs. I remember during Biden's State of the Union when he was melting on stage, but that's beside the point. With Marjorie Taylor Greene and Boebert and such were shouting and hissing or whatever it is they were doing from the stage.
Works both
from
ways.
The audience.
Yeah.
They were all in a tizzy about this. I'm like, you guys are doing the same thing, so let's stop pretending. Let's just stop pretending. This is you guys not happy, and it's really sad to see that Democrats don't take the border situation seriously. It's just totally become a progressive topic where they say, no, we don't want open borders. We want people to come here and have the best opportunity to be here, but we're not going to offer any enforcement mechanism. This is a thing that I constantly harp on the show. On my show is, you can have all the laws in the world, but if you don't have effective enforcement, they're useless. No law cannot be effective if there's not an enforcement mechanism to make sure it's being followed. It's unfortunate. That's the reason why me, as someone who leans libertarian, wants as few laws as possible, because I want as little enforcement as possible coming from the federal government especially. But they obviously don't care about that. They are okay with people going across the border, and Trump bringing up Irana Ivinska, to bringing up the tremendous drop in fentanyl coming across the border, bringing up the tremendous drops in human trafficking and various other crimes like that destroy our cities here in this country, and you're still sitting and you're not even pretending to clap because you're mad about ICE, who was not mentioned. And that's important to bring up, is ICE was not mentioned once during this.
That's true.
It was kind of beat around the bush, the enforcement of it. CPB was not brought up. Homan, I don't think, was mentioned. I don't think Noam was mentioned at all during the speech. He knew what he was doing, and he's going to get all the clips off of this for the midterm election. I think that's really why he had his act together, is he knows the midterms are going to be rough for the Republicans, and this is going to offer him so many opportunities to say, Republicans stand for the American people and not people that are here illegally.
That's usually the way it goes, though, in midterm elections. It's usually the party from the other side of the president that makes, some significant gains. That's usually the pattern, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah. And so the New England Take, A.J. Kierstead, is here every Saturday morning, correct? 8:30?
8:30 a.m. in newenglandtake.com if you want to check out my Substack.
And what do you have coming up?
All right, this week I attended the Constitution Party of New Hampshire's fourth annual meeting this past Sunday. So I got an interview with Constitution Party chairman and the director of Camp Constitution to talk about what they're doing over there. It was fascinating. I actually have an article I wrote that's on the Substack. We'll see if the union leader, Concord Monitor, picks it up. I shoot them op-eds occasionally that are right, so we'll see if they blow it off or not. But I thought it was really interesting to look at where the right can take grassroots politics.
There you go. So that is coming up. Something to look forward to here on WKXL, NHTalkRadio.com. And that is a weekly feature here. But if you miss it, if you're sleeping in on a Saturday, you can always catch up with it on NHTalkRadio.com. So there you go. Any parting shots here before we go, AJ?
I think this is going to be all in his favor. He's going to be able to take this to the midterms. He's going to be able to pawn it off for the Republican National Committee, or going to be able to use these for campaign ads. And he kept his act together. And that is what is always important with Donald Trump. Keeping your act together, calling out when needed. But it was a really good speech overall.
And he's always going to be an entertainer.
Yes,
they're always the most entertaining state, one way or the other. I mean, whether you love them or hate them, I don't think anybody's in the middle when it comes to Donald Trump. It's either one way or the other. And he's a tremendous entertainer. He knows what a TV audience wants. He captivates the audience, whether they're screaming at him or standing and giving him a standing ovation. He will always be the ultimate entertainer, no doubt about that. AJ, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate it. AJ Kierstead, New England Take. You can catch his act every Saturday morning at 8:30 or on NHTalkRadio.com. You can hear the full shows right there as well.
Thanks to Ken for having me on the show. Big fan of what Ken Cail's got going on over at WKXL, NHTalkRadio.com to check out more of what they got going on over there. Big thank you to them picking up the show Saturdays, 8:30 a.m. Next up over there is going to be Facing the Future, brought to you by the Concord Coalition. Thank you to thegranitegrok.com. Every Saturday they pick up the program. Big signal boost for the show, as well as Concord TV for airing us over there. NewEnglandTake.com. We'll talk to you soon.